At this particular stage, it's very much like traditional 3D, as you would expect with plasticine or little wooden puppets. What's different is the way that you can create expressions. After you've finished all the broad physical action, you have him walking in the way you would like, you then go to the facial action, and you can just, if you like, hide everything else. Now we're only concerned with his face. In 3D animation, when you refer to modeling on the computer, you're not actually talking about a model that you could pick up. It's not a piece of wood or anything. It's a wire frame, in fact. That's how everything comes about on the computer. You build first a wire frame, and then you assign the various materials and textures, and then you hang lights as you would in model or in live action. It's quite different from drawing at this stage, but by the time you're here, you've already planned it out in drawing, and now you just execute it on the computer. Wrong Brothers is perhaps a little unconventional in terms of what people have come to expect of computer animation, because it is generally assumed that the computer is better suited to a mechanical subject. And what we've tried to do is do a very conventional, traditional animation film, but entirely on the computer.
Oh.
In the end, it's exactly the same film that I would have made 3 years ago, drawing. And I wanted to demonstrate that nothing actually need change about the way you animate. We've written in little bits of character development and a variety of different ways of treating a scene. Just because 3D really is crying out for more scale. It likes a broad landscape and a lot of detail.
And track and action, Alan. The reason I mixed everything up so much with live action and all the other elements was that I'd been wanting to branch out with the work I was doing, and I felt there were certain issues, particularly around the nature of human beings, that was very difficult to address in animation, and I needed the real thing, and I needed people there in order to conjure up those particular audience connections and responses. But I still didn't want to leave the sort of the alchemical world of animation. I wanted to make a connection. The shadows come from performers that are filmed and transferred to cell and projected. So it's not as though it would be mixing a piece of pure drawn animation or a piece of cell animation. And it was shot in 2.5 weeks. Keep up the momentum around here. With 3 cameras, motion control cameras, animation cameras, live action. You know, it was a complete mayhem, very, very concentrated.
Quiet please, stand by.
In the Time of Angels concerns 2 fundamental things. One is the going back in time to undo past regrets. This is the same setup as the last shot. And the other issue is the way that our past inheritance, both psychological and spiritual, impinge on our ability to be free as a human being.
And turnover.
And action.
Weep like the water, weep like the water wheel, that green herbs may spring up in the courtyard of your soul.
feeling of loss is so great that the very life in me has drained away, and sickness has overcome me. I long to find some means of reversing the passage of time and undo that decision that has cost me so dearly. Of studying his books, charts, and calculations, I can find no method of turning back the hands of time. I can only pray that I will be delivered from this fate and find my destiny. was haunted by the voices of my ancestors, chastising, forbidding. He's going to trap you. I could no longer see with my own eyes. Lock you up. Throw away the key. Don't. Never again. Please don't. Never again. Beg you, don't be fooled. It's just tricks. Illusions. He's out to trap you, control, lock you up. Wherever I shine the lamplight of divine breath, there the difficulties of a whole world are resolved. The darkness which the earthly sun did not remove becomes through my breath bright morning.
The poems are taken from a Sufi poet called Jalaluddin Rumi, but I hadn't thought about it at all for the film. It was only when we came to do the music. I was searching for something just beyond pure music. I wanted to have words, but I didn't want to have commentary. I didn't want to overdo the explanations, but I in some way wanted to include clues to understanding the film. Although I was trying to deal with essentially spiritual issues, spiritual psychological issues, I wanted the film in its look to appeal to as wide an audience as possible. So I made it as sophisticated as I could. And also that they are the tools of my trade. I mean, not necessarily the sophistication, but the use of all sorts of effects. It's the sort of alchemy that I like playing with. But I saw no problem in combining those two things. I think to think about the spiritual in terms of, home knitting and woven dresses and all those things, it's a myth. I think it's quite possible to be spiritual and up to date.
Like the